Well, okay, no audio issues off the bat.
Oh,
What's good?
perfect.
How are we? Happy to be back.
Yeah, good to see
Deborah
everyone
Knight
again.
225, thanks for the follow. I feel like I recognize that
Oh, thank you
username
so
though.
much.
I feel like I recognize it, not gonna lie.
Right.
I gotta double check.
What up,
Yeah,
Kate?
yeah, that's
What
just
up?
oh, what's up?
How you doing?
Um
Right, so
so we're kind of launching something new. Myself and Raf,
yeah.
the crack lads that we are going to start basically there's some stuff in Quentos that originally wasn't SRD and stuff, so I want to do our own version of a lot of it. So basically, I know Cobalt Press, some of it is open content, but you feel offended to not be invited to the homebrew party, as if this is if this is homework, not a party. But no, this is something I've been talking to Raph about for a little bit. That
Yeah.
I've been kind of thinking about what I want to do and like renaming some of the stuff, like just like to the Elvish names or like culturally different names, have language differences start develop, have like cultural and like location based names for each of the different aspects of some of the races of the world, some of the ancestries. And you're around everything's a party. Roll deception.
Yeah, and it also just allows us to go further into sort of the lore and the history, as you said, like the cultural sides as well to each of the different races in the world.
Some eye drops.
Yeah. Oh, good.
My eyes are a little stingy lately.
That's stingy.
I probably should be wearing my
Sore
glasses,
voice.
but
Look, you're out here cursing everyone with glassless Des.
look, glasses through Des. No, this is Aaron. Right now, this is Aaron. Put my glasses on. You can call me Aaron
Different
tonight.
persona. It says Superman. Just Superman.
It is. This is just the difference. But I am in my
Well, you
usual
can see
taunting
me,
hoodie of zero deaths. But yeah, so
this is a world building stream. This is a world building stream, right, Des? Right?
imagine.
No one can die
Raph, can you roll some? Can you roll some death saving throws? Also, I'm sorry, but we kind of everyone knows us at this stage. We do a little bit of distraction talk at the start of our sessions, start of our streams, and we haven't had a chance to really talk since Monday. And some pretty cool stuff happened Monday. And I just want to say a hot minute. My fucking dice rolls with the new Labradorite dice. Fucking hell. I love it so much. I love it so much. They're here in my little dice box beside me, and I'm curious if I give them a test roll right now, would they be loyal enough to give me another 20 just as a test?
Probably
Just
not
as a
20.
test.
Or like
So-
a 19 or something. Something ridiculous.
16, not bad.
Look, that's not bad.
15. 4. 20, yeah.
I didn't think.
There.
Okay. So how many rolls is that? How many rolls
Oh,
is that?
4 or 5? 4 or 5?
4 or 5? Yep. Yeah, look,
Those
Kate,
are my
I
Marek
haven't
dice,
seen
Kate.
the video. They are banned. No, come on.
No, you guys know. Do you guys know anytime that it is a Samael related or related? I have dice just for him and his generals, and it's the Garnets.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
The BBG and his generals have their own set.
Yeah.
They only come out when
Which
it's
are
to do
very
with.
beautiful dice.
They are very beautiful dice. I really expanded my dice collection this last year to like a lot of gemstones.
Yeah. Look, each new character you introduce just needs a new set of dice, you know?
But I cannot afford that.
One day.
But no, I'm going to use the new dice next session, 100%.
Yeah, but honestly, those dice slightly terrified. On
They
Sunday,
were honestly
rolled-
like they're
they
probably my
rolled
new favorite dice.
so
Just
high.
saying, they're so loyal.
Which I appreciate that because you like warm me up being like, you know what, like as a player, I never roll that well. You don't
Okay,
have to
but
be too worried. I never
Historically
roll
speaking,
well
you've played me
player.
as a player once before. I always rolled shit. I did always roll quite badly.
Yeah, but then this time around, it's like, okay, rest it again.
Look, if ever there was a time. Also, I would like to
yeah.
just point out the absolute build envy you've had from Silverin these past few days.
Yes.
Kate, you disagree? No, you disagree because I make busted builds to compensate that I don't need to roll well.
Oh, Des is a pain in the ass.
I'm a bit of a dangerous word in the D&D community. I'm a bit of a power gamer. I like being
gamer,
busted so I can live for all the cool stuff.
No, honestly, base.
Look, maybe it's a one-shot thing. Maybe it's a
It's a
one-shot thing.
one-shot thing.
Because when I was Yavi for those
Yeah.
like 10 sessions, I rolled like ass the entire time.
You yeah. In longer series, you seem to pretty average. I don't think there's ever been a game where I think that I've rolled exceptionally well. I've always just been like either average
I
or
don't think you
below
can
average.
roll exceptionally well. I've been
No.
it's like when we meet up in person, I'm gonna give you like the original terror of my dice set. I'm gonna give you the red elven dice. That the one that was like all you guys were like, don't roll it, don't roll it. Like that.
Yep. Yeah.
Like that
I
shit
just
was
see if
scary for you
I'd
guys.
Oh yeah, that
Just
was terrifying. I like how you always go through dice sets and always be like one every now and then. We're like, yeah, we're putting a ban on you using that, Des. We as
mm.
players cannot let you have those dice in your possession.
I'm sorry, but if we look historically at like sets, the Bloodstone dice, like my heliotropes, they've taken some fucking life. I will say, like just straight up, like they've
Oh
taken
yeah.
like yeah, they're pretty lethal.
Raph, you don't need to roll exceptionally well when you've got us rolling both highs and lows for you. Yeah, look. That game, that entire campaign there, just rolling like nat ones to all of my attacks, but then nat 20s to all of my death saves. That was wild. That was a wild time. I don't, especially because I had a permanent failed one death saving throw, and yet I just never failed my death saving throws.
I've never seen a player roll as many
wild time.
20s.
No, but like on my attacks, I think I made like one each combat. That was wild.
Look, you just kind of
Like,
hopped off.
yeah, look, that was something nutty. Shout out to the Ice Knife, man. Look, Ice Knife, Smash Knife.
Okay, I was just fixing the music. But no,
Okay.
I gotta say, I love them. I ordered them Christmas Eve, and they're like handmade. Like they at least you got a message being like, yeah, like stuff's pretty bad over here. So like you probably be 3 months basically before we have all this stuff. Like because they were like basically they were out of Purple Heart, so they had to import some of that. They had to like they didn't have the things for their Galaxy. They're like it's gonna be a minute, and I was like, you know what, I'm okay. Like let it cook, let it roll. Like, I'll wait.
Yeah.
And
Good things come.
yeah, I'm still deciding which set to give to Everett. That's like I need an Everett set. I feel like that's mandatory.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100% you need an average set.
Because like I had my Helio
Which
set,
is-
like I've had, you know.
Yeah. Which I'm curious to know, like which ones eventually get assigned to Everett. Probably something
So am I,
bluish.
because like
Probably something bluish for the.
see, I do have another set. Where is it? I'm thinking these might be their resin set I got at Christmas, and I was like, they might be a good Everett set. They might be a good Everett set. They're like my weird sharp edge resin ones. I was like, this could be a nice Everett set.
I kind of like those for Everett. I kind of like them.
Yeah.
You know what? I reckon those could easily work as an Everett.
They definitely could work as an Everett set. But what about Monday? That was a bit of a wild time.
Look, Monday was wild. It definitely did happen, and it was definitely wild.
I really liked the combat we had. I would say I just really liked the combat. It felt good to have like hordes, not hordes, I suppose the wrong thing, but waves
Mass
of undead. Mass undead. And letting Merkestra get our first, like, especially level 14. Because undead, like, you'd think with our campaigns kind of like premise and stuff, undead would have been far more like prevalent at the start, but it wasn't really.
It's like surprisingly not.
Look, you were definitely there, Kate. Definitely.
Yeah, 100%. Look, Svein was absolutely there for the whole fight and was not taken out of it at all.
Oh yeah, look, I saw a very, very interesting argument there of like paralyzed stun, basically abilities that like put status effects on players that like take them out of a turn and stuff aren't like fun and stuff. And I was just thinking to myself, Lesser Restoration is one of the most common spell across all kind of like classes, really. Like most people can get access to it. And I was just thinking, second level spell, Lesser Restoration, no components.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, have like, some...
at least once in a party, like at least one person in a party should have Lesser Restoration. It's such a basic spell.
It's such a bread and butter one though, like, you know.
Yeah.
For like breaking paralysis and stuff, and I'm just like, I get that, like, oh, it's not fun, like, it takes time to get to combat, but it's also just like, if the enemies aren't able to do it, why not? Like, if an enemy can't stun, an enemy can't paralyze, why not?
Also, I'm just looking as well, like, in terms of who get access to it, Artificer, Bard, Cleric, Druid, Paladin, and Ranger. That is a massive list.
The only who do the Dota are Sorcerer, Wizard, I believe, and Warlock.
Yeah.
But I think Celestial Warlock can get access to it.
Yes, Celestial
and a Celestial Sorcerer can.
Yeah, exactly. So the only one that has 0 access to it is Wizard.
No, Angelic Scribe, I'm pretty sure the Cobalt Press one can give you access.
Okay, yeah, true, actually. I think that does.
I'm never going to bring it next campaign just as a meme. Look, that is also contingent on you sticking to the character concept you've pitched me as for your next character. Like, not a joke, just a fact. But Raph, it's been 20 minutes, you say, and we haven't gotten anything done.
Yes.
And that's not true. We've already gotten stuff pre-done.
Honestly, that's fast for us.
Look, you know, it's expedient. Bitch, I have it locked in. Look.
What about that barbarian idea? Okay, that was actually pretty interesting.
I'm just waiting for one TikTok to send you down a spiral. That's it. Well, it happens to the best of us. I've seen it tear people apart.
Tear the best of us apart.
He is a cute little lad.
He is adorable.
But I suppose our stuff we've kind of separated stuff into. We haven't really quite separated into SRD and not SRD stuff, or stuff that is open content and open content yet. We've kind of loosely typed out a list of everything.
Yeah. It's because it started out as very much like, oh, let's just like turn some of the non-SRD stuff into, you know, wording appropriate for our setting. But then it's like, hang on, let's just go through all of the races and just overhaul them and have them make sense for our world. And because like they already have very unique laws, like nothing is similar to the normal.
No, that's very true. I think
so. It's like
the first domino that fell for this was the Prescient Elves. That kicked off so much fucking shit.
Yeah, that opened it up. That opened the floodgates for us just to push forward and be like, you know what? We should do this some more.
Yeah, so this is probably not going to be a one stream thing. This will probably be a couple stream thing, and we'll really kind of just have to see how it goes and where it takes us. But honestly, I'm quite hopeful for it. We've already put in some couple names using various translation tools online. Some for like Tolkien's Elvish or Sindarin or Kenya Elvish, or some more like D&D, like Dragonlance style Elvish, and combine some names. One I really particularly like so far that we've gotten is like the first kind of 3 that we have there. Specifically the Corvathil. I really like that for Ravenfolk. Just as a name, I really, really like it.
Yeah. I like it as
like,
well.
They're not Kenku, first of all. Even just from like what they are in Statblock, they're Ravenfolk. Like, they are not Kenku. They're specifically distinct creatures, just like bipedal raven creatures. I don't believe they actually have any flight from what I remember, but maybe our ones do. So I'm trying to
boot them up now to have a look. So they don't get flight.
No, I will say one thing. I believe, other than their mimicry, which I believe they do get, I was quite, how do I put this, underwhelmed by the Ravenfolk race. Just like, especially how like strong stuff gets in like 5e, especially like the power creep that has been happening. And if you say it hasn't, come on, buddy, we know it has.
I just want to break it down what they do get. So beyond all of like the general stuff, they get the mimicry, they get proficiency in deception and stealth, and they get advantage on attacks against surprise creatures.
Yeah, which, as I was saying, it's not that much.
It's not too much.
Like, you compare that to like so many creatures. Like, honestly, I think you could even just tack on flight to that, and it would still be not underwhelming, but still be pretty good.
Look, I would almost be considering taking out the sudden attack and just putting in fly instead, putting in flight speed.
Well, they get mimicry as well. They do get mimicry, and that's kind of cool. But I don't think so. Lore wise, for us, our Ravenfolk, they were kind of obviously all humanity brought over with the Guiding Light. You know, spectacles, testicles, watch and wallet, and all that.
What's a bee's name? Yeah.
And I love Austin Powers. It's such a fucking good movie. But basically, after he died, a lot of people got like abandoned, for what is better term. Like the elves split into like multiple factions, which is one thing we're gonna have to break down. Like we have like Eladrin. Like I kind of want to group Eladrin, River Elf, and Wood Elf into just Woad Elf.
Yes, and I think that we honestly need to do a stream in itself for just Elders of Quenthos.
Just like off the top of my head, like we have Prescient, Starless, Woad, Ceruvian, and Shadowfey.
Yeah. Yeah. I like Woad as a catch-all term, but then you have almost like
sub races.
Yeah, there's like sub races after that for like the
it's an umbrella term.
And Sarah and else. And like it ones groups like that. You have like ones offshoots.
So honestly,
yeah, absolutely.
Hello, Vijik. How are you today? Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, how you doing?
Also, you know what's pretty dope, my guy? As well, while we're here, canonically, I'm the eldest member of the Eldritch tribe. This day, 2 weeks from now, I get even older. My birthday. This day, 2 weeks from now.
You do.
Which I'm still kind of like teetering on the edge. Do I want to stream or not? Do I want to stream my birthday? I think it could be fun.
Yeah.
I don't know what I do.
Did your birthday on a Monday?
It's on a Thursday.
No. It's on a Thursday.
Will any of this be on the test? It is on the test. The test started 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Ravenfolk.
Yeah, so Ravenfolk. So how do we want to go about this in terms of going through each one of these? Do we just want to like look at?
Well, I suppose I'll start from their lore. If you want to like get some bullet points down for their lore, I think that would be kind of neat.
Right.
Which you obviously are probably, I assume you know a fair bit already. So after the Guiding Light kind of went poof and humanity was left to fend for itself, obviously border settlements were made. Ravenfolk are definitely very much so like the downtrodden now, because during the 300-year war they were seen as siding with the Jotuns, and people considered them to be how would you put it? Like the spies for them is the best way to put it. They thought that it was Ravenfolk that were the ones going out, or the Corvathil are the ones that are going out and leaking the information of where humanity is and where, you know, they're hiding and what they're kind of up to. So they're definitely like we've seen it an awful lot with tieflings in our games. $15. Get some whiskey for that birthday or not. Thanks for the $15. I'm saving it for a microphone for my birthday, which is a big investment. So yes. I'll put that towards it. It's going to be a big boy microphone. Hopefully it'll be the only one I need to upgrade down the line. But it's going to be a lot of money. And yeah, I really appreciate it. Thank you for the $15. The results should be, you know, podcast quality, high tier microphone.
Yes.
So thank you so much. That means a lot to me. Thank you. But yeah, so talking about the Ravenfolk, yeah, like we've seen it a lot with the tieflings. You know, they're like hell wards and oppressed, and it's awful what happens to the tieflings. And not to take away from that, but it's like Ravenfolk's rookeries aren't even allowed in cities. Most Ravenfolk will be chased out of cities.
Shit.
Like
I didn't realize it was quite that.
No, it's bad. It's bad. Like some people condemn the Ravenfolk as like, no, they're a sign of bad luck. They bring the Jotuns, they bring things. Or some people kind of saw them as like originally when they came over, like Starless. I would say a point that Calicinder would know is that there was like a certain beauty and reverence for Ravenfolk originally with their mimicry, because they were like they were the words of gods. They echoed the words of the divine. I'm just going to have you as background noise. Not sure how much I will retain. Have a good stream. Thank you, and enjoy the background noise. Happy to be your background noise. But yeah, they were seen as like almost like the heralds. But when the hey, we let one of them go as a raider. Insane. It is. But unfortunately, that means a lot of Ravenfolk have to turn to like lives of crime and stuff.
Yeah. Like
some people like, and as such, the Ravenfolk as a people, the Corvathil as a people, they share very little of their own like culture and stuff. Like think about it this way, like how much do you guys know of, like, I know you guys haven't really asked that much, but think of how like open Captain Troon has been without telling you fuck all shit about their past.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point.
Like they will not tell people of where they're from, who they're alive. Like they are trying to protect the flock. Like
I didn't. So like I guess there's a very sharp contrast to tieflings. Like tieflings, it's much more in your face. Like it's much more of like a direct thing in that sense.
It is. Whereas
like Ravenfolk seem to be able to operate a lot more, but it's just. No, it's because we haven't really seen it. We haven't really seen.
Well, like other than Captain Troon, how many Ravenfolk have you seen around in cities? I've never really described many.
True, but we haven't really seen it in the wilds either. Like that's the thing.
Correct.
Like, we haven't really encountered.
You have actually seen one within Marek's troop that you guys were chasing. One of them was a Ravenfolk.
You're right. There was one there. But yeah, we haven't really seen.
And Captain Troon.
Like even traveling throughout the world, like we haven't really encountered.
No, they're a really small demographic because they are like, almost like mob mentality, like run out of town and stuff. It's very difficult to come across them. And like even in the WoD, they're not seen as like allies. They're seen as people that like they gave away locations. Like they, like even like so the Tieflings found home in the Hell Ward. Like they found community.
Yes.
Ravenfolk are constantly kind of on the run.
Yeah. And I imagine like it's very much like a very nomadic society.
Yeah, it's extremely nomadic. It's very, very nomadic.
So I'm curious, in terms of their history with the Jotuns and the Giants, was that just purely more of a survival thing that they did in terms of helping them and everything? Or was it because they actually...
So basically what first happened is their original homes that they set up were very, very near the Shatters, near Bellerin, which is actually where we would probably see the largest percentage of Ravenfolk still, is near Bellerin. But a lot of it came to the first people that were subjugated by the Jotuns were the Goliath and the Ravenfolk. And the Ravenfolk literally saw their homes, like their rookeries, get completely destroyed. And then it was like information or death. And they basically were like... They're just like, unfortunately, they were the first ones to kind of be subjugated, but it also meant that they were the ones who, like, they did, unfortunately, like, pass information to the Jotuns of where people were hiding and stuff, and like it was for their own survival. And it's kind of just like they were like they were no more favored by the Jotuns than anyone else. They were just trying to live. But people blame them for the exact same reasons. It's like, well, if you would come and warned us rather than give away our secrets. But then you're talking at home, the Ravenfolk's families and all are just being like kept hostage. So it's like, if you want your kin to live, then you're gonna, you're gonna give us this information. And it's even so bad that like, while the Ravenfolk culture would run very, very deep, a lot of the people on the surface of Quenthos would see them as like culture agnostic. They don't have a culture of their own. They are like carrion. They come and pick at the culture of others and try and blend into society. That's why we must run them out of town.
Which is, I find that very interesting, because I'm just curious, like not just in terms of stylus, but in terms of like Prescient elves in that case as well. Would they view them differently, considering they have that very much like that older style of thinking? Like still see them.
So there's like a small, I'd say there's like a small rookery's worth of ravens folk in Mount Ondai that call it home. I would say the Prescient elves, no, they would not. Because they weren't really involved in the 300-year war, but I would say WoD elves would have that same, like, you betrayed us all, because the thing about elves as well is, at their ancient and, like, long lifespans, they hold grudges that run deep.
Yes. Which is, I think it's supposedly, it's quite an interesting thing in the case of Prescient elves, because at least immediately after the war, some people viewed the Prescient elves with a bit of
they still do
towards them, and they still do, because they didn't do anything. They were there and they didn't help. So I can see them, the Prescients being very accommodating towards the Corvathiel, because it's a shared sense of we did what we did for our survival.
It's look, it's kind of like, how do you approach it? Because it's just like, they're not like, can you blame them for the things they did during the 300-year war? Because unfortunately, they just get a lot of they get a lot of the blame for it. I just like a face value. They get a lot of the fucking blame, even though it can't really be pinned on any one person. It's just that people blame it. Hello from Bali. hello from Bali. Go enjoy the sunshine, Nate. How are
Yeah,
you doing? Why are you checking in
Why
on
did
us
you
from
come onto the
Bali?
stream? Enjoy your holiday.
Enjoy
How are you
Bali.
doing, mate? How are you guys?
How is Bali? Are you enjoying it?
Yeah.
Are you getting loads of Instagirl aesthetic shots of yourselves, I hope? Sunshine these nuts, correct.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so the kind of the propaganda, I suppose, the anti-Corvathil propaganda that came out is that they willingly sided with the Jotuns, which is completely unproven and it's speculation, but unfortunately it's something that, like, pretty much when the Jotuns were gone, it's someone had to get the blame for people to have their scapegoat. And
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And this was a very convenient scapegoat.
yeah, well, they were seen as the first traitors because, like, the Goliaths, like the half giants in our setting, like, they fought back and were basically forced to work in the smitheries and mines for the Jotuns. Like, they were like no, so they got sent to, like, labor camps essentially.
Yeah.
Which, like,
Which
Ravenfolk didn't have, like, the same ancestral strength. Perhaps did you make a knockoff Wu-Tang Clan joke?
No. If I did, then I want to know. Tell me. Because then I'll turn it into.
But you're checking in because you love us. We love
joke.
you, Nate. We love you so much. You're a solid gamer, and we're super happy to have you at our table whenever we can.
Yeah.
But I will say one comment there. Raf saying, "Make sure you bring me back a bit of sun." A Bintang What the fuck is a Bintang singlet?
Oh, okay. I swear this is just maybe something, but like so many Australians go to Bali, which is just like, look, so many Australians do go to Bali. I don't know if you know about that, Des, but it's like.
Well, I suppose it's closer to you than it would be to me.
Yeah, Australians in Bali, it's like you get so many people there just drinking and just like partying and so much stuff. And Bintang singlets and Bintang shirts, which is like a type of beer there, it's very common that people will come back rocking one of them or having bought one of them for people. It's like if you see one, then you know that person or that they know someone who's been to Bali.
Do you know someone who's been to Bali other than Nate?
Yeah, like stacks of people. It's like half of people here. Like when you finish like high school, you just get like a cheap plane ticket to Bali at least.
See, for me, there is no such thing as a cheap plane ticket to Bali from where I'm at. From Europe.
Yeah. Well, that's
Like a lot of people. What I did is they go interrailing around Europe. Like that was a big thing in my school. People went interrailing.
Well, that's the thing. Then for us, it's like cheap flights to Europe. That doesn't exist. Like what the fuck?
Sometimes I just baffled by the cultural differences alone between us. I'm just like, but like what? It's like. But anyway, so we're getting distracted.
Well, yeah.
Interrailing, Kate. Raf, message me your size and I'll get you one. Lamau, imagine.
No, it's all good. It's all good, mate. Thank you. Like interrailing.
Look, they are also interrailing.
Yeah.
How did we get to that? Anyway.
Yeah, how did we get to that? Anyway, back to discussing discrimination against Corvathil, Ravenfolk.
Yeah, which I really like as a name for like the original Elvish name brought over with the Star Elves and everything. It's like, and then like I think like Ravenfolk or Ravenkin, perhaps instead of Ravenfolk, is like just the more common derogatory name for them.
Yeah, like it's not even like necessarily
not derogatory.
It's just what people call them. Like no one remembers the name Corvathil besides them. And it's faded into sort of. They actually know the only other people that really use it would be elves, type of thing. So Corvathil.
But I do prefer Ravenkin to Ravenfolk. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anything or. But yeah, I was gonna say, if I gotta remember that new name, then I'm gonna be actually inside of the show. I'm gonna call them Ravenfolk. Look, bound to happen.
Look, don't worry. You'll be given a debriefing packet when we make these changes go live on the public services. It's PBE right now.
Yeah. Fuck's sake. But yeah, so in terms of, I'll just move my section. That's looks better. So in terms of Corvithil, Ravenfolk, Ravenkin, whatever name you choose to give them, what the mechanical side of things, looking into that slightly, is there anything we wanted to change? I know that we mentioned putting flight into there.
Well, look, I definitely think the size, between 4 and 6 feet, is pretty standard. Base walking speed is 30 feet. I'm happy with the mimicry. They definitely get the mimicry feature of a raven. They definitely get.
I really like that.
I definitely think we give them a fly speed of 60. 60 feet's a little much, isn't it? But I suppose if we give them nothing else, it's not.
I mean, I think it depends if you take away the sudden attack or not.
I'm thinking of taking that away. Gotta read the patch notes, see if Svein got buffed yet. He did. He got a +2 axe last session, so.
Like, that doesn't help you if you just get perma-stunned.
You know what helps? Remembering you have advantage on saving throws against being paralyzed and stunned.
I don't know. So in terms of the flying speed, are we going to do it where it's like it can only be if wearing light or heavy armor, or light or medium? Like you can't do it wearing heavy armor, or just light armor? Like how are we going to roll it?
I would say light and medium. Like, I don't want them to be like Hollowbow and Aarakocra. I want there to be some distinction between. It helps having more than one actual fight I could participate in. You fuck. Look, you'll get as many combats as you want next session. I can guarantee that. I can guarantee bloodshed.
Sometimes that blood will be in 2 very suspicious-looking blades.
But I suppose if we look at Aarakocra's flying speed, it's 50 feet, so 60 feet a bit much. I suppose we could give them 30 feet, but...
Well, tieflings, in terms of feral tieflings, it's 30 feet, which then you can't be wearing heavy armor for.
So feral tiefling allows medium?
Yes.
Okay, I think we make it something like that then. 30 feet, where as long as you're not wearing heavy armor.
Heavy armor. Which I like that. Makes it just different. I didn't want to put the Aarakocra flying ability in there instead of...
Sounds like you need a sweet talk rapping to joining Elf Boys on Tour. I don't know what that is, but sure, let's...
Elf Boys on Tour, I love that. You know what? New name. The next one-shot will just be Elf Boys on Tour.
So one thing I definitely want for their ability is I don't know how I'd mechanically word or what I'd call it, but what I think would be really cool is Raven folk get advantage on flying stealth checks at night.
Ooh. Okay. I think you could just that's quite interesting. I think, let's look back over their sheet. You could, so what do they get? They've got the proficiency and deception stealth, which I like. But you think advantage on
stealth checks at night with their flight speed.
Okay, that's an interesting one.
So flying above a city and stuff, because these were the infiltrators of the Jotuns. I don't think so, because we're not giving them proficiency. I don't know how to word that, but that's also incredibly specific, which is why it's not so busted.
Yeah, it's a more of a fluffy ability, just lore wise for them.
Look, you're fluffing them, are you? Are you a fluffer, Rat?
Shit, it's not live on stream, okay? You're not meant to out me like this. You're not meant to out me.
No, it is very specific, but to be fair, some shit just is super wild specific, and I think that and their mimicry, their flight speed, and their proficiencies is enough.
Yeah, because it really goes into their sort of background as being spies and saboteurs type of thing. So I like that. Otherwise, I think we remove the what's it
Wait, yeah, but don't worry about it. Background noise, remember?
Yeah, background noise. Don't worry. Things
nothing sus in this chat.
Nothing in this chat holds up in court. Put it that way.
Everything we have ever said ever is a joke. Canonically.
The VODs will be scrubbed, and there will be nothing.
There is no fluffers and passing thing.
There is. Right, so I like that. I like that. So, so let's have a look.
What if we called the ability something like I don't want to call it Wings of Night or something, but like something like a Dusk
Wings of
Wing
Shadow.
approach.
Yeah, I agree, Nate. N.
I do agree. N.
Well said.
Just get an N in chat. Everyone just...
Yeah. But yeah, I think we should give a name to it. Look, probably not much at all. Which is why I don't mind including it in there on top of everything else, because it's not something
Well,
that will
like
come up often.
if you're flying over a city, like flying at night, like nighttime happens. Like so, you know,
I mean,
it's
look,
campaign
take for example, that would be fantastic. For example, in Finvale, if it was like nighttime, Finvale stealth flying could actually be really kind of useful.
You bastards. Yes, correct. Correct, Nate. They were correct.
Yeah. Yeah, and Fajouk, go back to what you were doing. Just
Ignore. If you hear anything sus, just ignore it.
Background noise. But yeah, so I like that. I like that. It's see, that's the thing, is I wouldn't want to add anything else on there that would come up quite often, and I think it's just a nice little just lore, like little just nod. It's something that when it does come up, it's like, hey, there's like this little niche ability. It's kind of cool.
Look, it's niche, but look, you can't ignore rap being sus ever. No, definitely not. But it's
Look,
alright.
I am just sus.
No, I do quite like it's super thematic and it's just like kind of out there and cool, but why not? Like,
Yeah,
why the heck not?
why the heck not? Is there anything else you wanted to touch on for Ravenfolk, or do you like what we got there?
Do you want to keep them with their proficiencies?
I think proficiency in deception and stealth suits them, and it very much suits their background as well. Considering the Jotuns basically like force them into being these spies.
Infiltrators.
And then since then they've had to live a life on the run.
Name for the glide ability from Nate. Silent approach. I like that.
Ooh, I kind of like that. It's kind of cool.
What is
Silent approach. I like that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, so your moves keep their proficiency in stealth and deception.
Yeah.
I don't believe they get any other proficiencies in like the base ones that we use.
No. You can speak, read, and write Hugin speech and Northern tongue. Now, I'm curious: is there Northern tongue in Quinthos and Hugin speech? Is that something like
there is Hugin speech, which is the language of the Raven folks, and Northern tongue I imagined is like Jotun speak.
Okay.
It's like
so
a subsect of Giant.
Right, I just expected Giant to be like just this standard Jotun thing, but okay, but Northern tongue is.
Or we could just replace it with Giant and make it just the same thing, because it would make more sense.
I see. That's what I was leaning towards. Is just giving them Giant.
Yeah. So. But you know, it's funny, they don't get common as a, because like obviously they're not in I feel like all the language abilities can replace with mimicry. You're not wrong. They can mimic language. But they don't get an innate innate proficiency in common, which is an interesting one. They have to get it from their background.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's actually kind of interesting. Yeah, actually. Fuck. But yeah, I quite like what we have there for them.
Yeah, I think it's
I'm just looking back over. I don't think there's anything else I really want to change. I like all of the base stuff, like size, age, that type of stuff. That's fine.
They don't get innate missing out. Oh. Oh. True, but understanding language is, you know, they can repeat it, but they may not understand it.
Yeah, but it's also like the written
Aspect of it. Okay, I quite like what we have for that.
I quite like
Is there
it.
anything else you want to talk about?
Their
Their vibe, where they're at, like what they do. Is there anything else you want to discuss or converse on them? Are you happy with that?
I'm quite happy to leave it there, and we can always come back to it. But I'm quite happy with that. And I think lore-wise, that plus we already have stuff on the world down.
It's like varying wording on some of it, yeah, but
I'll redo. Actually, this is a good time.
This is a good way of getting us to redo all of
this. This is
the...
a good excuse. This is a good excuse for me just to go through all the race stuff on World Anvil and change it.
Look, you do a lot of work for me, so I appreciate it. And just add this to your bucket list.
Yeah. Well, it's been a while since I've touched up articles, so that's actually a good kick along to do it.
How are we doing on actually putting old past world building streams on the World Anvil? Do I want to know?
Not as good as I thought.
So I don't want to know. Okay.
You don't want to know. You don't want to know. I put some up, but no. That's something for another time.
Look, when I'm done writing campaign 3, I will be back on the World Anvil team.
Is this something? Is that the first public mention of campaign 3 that we've had in terms of it in production?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Okay, I wasn't sure if that was like a whole like first.
No, I think like we've talked about like on these streams anyway. I think we've talked about not like talked about like my premise for it or anything, or like what the characters are going to be, but like the fact it's not a secret that I have started writing the next campaign. No.
Yeah, it's it. All right. So the next race, if you want to move on to the next race.
Yeah, I'm happy to move down the list if you want.
I need campaign 3 in my life. Look, we've still got a lot of Kingslayers to get through first.
We have a lot of Kingslayers, but I'm prepping for a TPK. The unfortunate thing is I'm prepping for campaign 3. I'm writing for campaign 3 as if the players win, I suppose, stop the BBEG of this campaign. If they don't manage to stop Samael, I have to redo everything, and that will be a nightmare. I do have a backup plan. I do have a backup plan for what campaign 3 will be like if Samael wins, which is like it's semi fleshed out already, and I'm like,
it's very interesting. I hope you don't mind me saying this, Des, but it'd be very interesting to the game that I first played in with Des. When I first joined one of Des's games, it would be very similar to that, I imagine.
Very similar. That was like almost 5 years ago. Which would be a completely different game, but the premise sort of similar idea. Fuck off. Don't jinx it, you bastard.
Look, Des just has incentive now to not TPK us, just so they can keep all their work on campaign 3.
Look, bold of you to assume I won't just throw it out and like that just becomes campaign 4 if campaign 2 is shot in the foot.
Yeah, 100%.
No, actually, I suppose looking at past notes of like using the similar premise, like we've talked about this actually quite a lot off camera of what would happen if Samael won, like in terms of next campaign, and
it would be a very interesting world setup. And I think which is also interesting because we've done a lot of work on the world state in the decades following the Kingslayers campaign.
Yeah,
but then that will also that will too have to be completely reworked if it's a Samael victory that we're looking at. So it would change a lot of what's there. But it would be very interesting. It would be very interesting.
Look, some things would have to change, definitely. Like we've got the campaign 3 world update that was like primed for World Anvil once this campaign finishes.
Yeah.
And
which I'm personally, I'm personally invested in that.
before I was
I
going to
will
play
cry
about
if I look, Des. That is how you get Des. That is how you get Kate to cry, live on stream.
No, I don't think it works. No tears left in that. Going for a 10 session mini campaign swim. Nope. I actually don't think there will be a mini campaign this time. I think maybe like one or two one shots. I might give Raph an opportunity to expand on the one shot side of things on his side for a few weeks, but cool. I'm just so fucking aware of what campaign 3 is in my mind, trying to follow Kingslayers, and it's so hard. It's so hard.
Yeah. I feel like we just need to go into it guns blazing.
Yeah. I need the momentum.
We need to go in there hitting. Yeah, you need the momentum. You need the momentum from Kingslayers just to push over into it. 100%. 100%. So, before we get wildly off topic, talking about future content and ideas and everything, let's go back to our list here.
Yeah, the Leonin, or as we've kind of translated an Elvish name for them originally, the Simathil.
Simathil, yes. So in terms of Leonin, let's just break it down. So they get the usual standard stuff, in terms of height and blah blah blah. Speed is 35. Actually, they get 35 feet of movement. That's
do we have Leonin in an RSRD?
We don't.
I don't think I have Theros
Roll 20. No, we don't. So I'm just looking it up on a separate platform. Okay. You know what, Des? I just realized something. What? Ravenfolk don't have dark vision.
No, they do not.
Huh. That just completely slipped me by. I'm like, wait a second. Hold up. But yeah, Leonin, so what do they get? They get dark vision, they get 35 walking speed, which is kind of cool, actually. It's a little bit extra. They get unarmed strikes with their claws.
I'm gonna actually just grab the book to make sure the one we're looking at is accurate.
I'm looking at the Theros. I don't think there's any other versions of Theros.
No, but are you looking at a Theros PDF?
Yes.
Okay, I'm not, so I'm just gonna grab my book.
Yeah, easy.
I don't know where my Theros PDF is, so I'm just gonna
look. Kate, have you ever seen an elf see in the dark? Because that's what I'm saying. I haven't either.
Okay, so looking at Theros.
I've been looking outside trying to see one, and I haven't seen it out there.
I believe, at least from my knowledge of Ravens, they're not. The furry campaign 3 confirmed. Yeah, absolutely.
Look, you've never seen an elf? SMH. What do you think I base Callus India on? Real life experience. That's it.
Okay, so 18 humans, size 6 to 7 feet. That's fine. Speed. I'd like the base walking speed being 35, and dark vision makes sense to me. See, here's where I struggle, because a lot of what's just in the base Leonin feels right to me. It feels like it makes so much sense, and I'm trying to think of what I would change.
Yeah.
Do you have ideas of things?
I'm just trying to look at it. I don't think there's anything that I would actually change. I think they're very just well-rounded, and they kind of do what they do. Also, ravens. Apparently, I just looked this up. Ravens can kind of see in the dark. At least far better than humans. From what I can see. So interesting.
Okay, I get your point of Leonins are good. Don't mess with them. But this is more for the thing of if we ever want to put out a campaign setting, we can't use Leonin.
Okay, so let's just break down Leonin then. In terms of lore wise, what's the general gist that we're going to go into?
Okay, so general gist of Leonin. They were on the other side of the continent, obviously, with Ojikir and Zarsan being their homeland. They are followed similar to Theros, or I think Theros is. I'm not sure if they are, but I believe they don't care about gods either way. They're strong hunters. They're it's mechanical abilities, definitely. They're very clean where they are. I'm just trying to, if They do feel very good. Oh, don't mess with them mechanically. I get you. So I suppose in terms of what could we have for them? So they're predominantly grouped up with the Loxodons over in Zarsan. They managed to fight back against a lot of giants, as is. Realize I'm not on the same tab as you, so that's probably not updating. Yeah, they're Eastern. Let me see what I have for them here. Yeah, primarily native to the Aegean Plains. Some common. They do also have a decent working relationship with Goliaths. Often arrogant and cocky and quick to take offense. Yeah, they carry grudges and they. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like, is there anything like to make them different? If we were to put out a campaign setting, not just like obviously. Like, we have the lore or whatever, but we have to give, like, an option, because you can't just publish Leonin. I don't believe it's open content. I'll check the front of Theros, but I believe it's under their product identity.
Yeah. Well, the way I very much see the relationship between Loxodons and Leonins being very much, as I think it's very much implied by them, is being much more of the militaristic focus. Whereas the Loxodons were the administrators and the bureaucrats and the people working behind the scenes. Like, the Leons were very much at the front, whether that was fighting or leading more diplomatic efforts between different groups to try and unify Zarsan together, as that was quite a long process, which actually be very interesting to look into a bit more.
Yeah, because there's a lot of individual city-states that basically, like...
Yeah. So they played far more of that front-facing role in there, whether as warriors or, as I said, diplomats. So I'm just curious if, just looking back over them now,
I could even see an argument to be made for, like, instead of like that, something to make them almost mechanically different for us is to give them like a pack tactics kind of ability. Like,
okay, a pack tactics type ability. That could be interesting. That could be interesting because
give them their natural weapon. I like their natural weapon. The daunting roar.
Okay, so how does that work? As a bonus action, choice within 10 feet, must see the wisdom saving throw, be frightened. The DC, 1 2 Okay, that'd look interesting. Although if you have shit wisdom,
yeah. Which is why I feel like either like a rallying call, kind of like, you know, something similar, like, you know, a hobgoblin captain's ability, similar to that.
Okay.
Which is like if I bring up the like leadership, like give a command to creature within 30 feet and they can use their reaction to make an attack. Like, is that a hobgoblin captain? I can't remember who that is.
That's quite...
Pack tactics is a bit broken. That's why I'm trying to like the roar is there. I'm either I'm thinking of pence or something that like something that can like really bring back, like bring in the lore of their military might and like their fight versus the giants.
As a bit more of a charismatic front, which is what
I mean, we could give a subclass to it. Like, we could subrace it.
Subrace it. We could subrace it. That's which I think is important. Like, a lot of the Leonins that we've seen have been very charismatic individuals. Like, even just looking at like a big example of a big one we know, which is like Proxia, very much a charismatic senator, which is that's also very much their image in this world. Not so much as like survival hunter type things, which is that's very much in the past for them.
Change the roar to an inspiring roar. That's not a bad idea. I don't hate that.
So I quite like something a bit more on the inspiring. I like that, inspiring of sorts.
Reaction roar. Yeah, I like the idea of like kind of having that ability. I can't remember if I don't think it's the hobgoblin, but you know the ability I'm talking about. Basically, you, as a reaction or as a bonus action on your turn, you can command an ally. I think it's maybe the Battlemaster also something similar.
The Battlemaster has it. The Battlemaster has that.
Something similar to that. I mean, even though the Battlemaster
has as one of their whatever it's called, their abilities is that they can choose an ally and they can make an attack.
I don't hate that.
So
I
that-
don't hate that idea. Like something similar to
I mean,
that.
it's a bit strong. It is quite a strong ability.
You could also have it only able to be used the amount of times a day equal to your proficiency bonus.
True, although it is, I would argue, quite a bit more useful and quite a bit better than the daunting roar that we would be replacing it.
It is. It is. Would we take like? Is there like? There's a leap as well. We could give them a leap, which would be pretty cool.
A leap would be cool. I'm curious, like in terms of the inspiring, if we were to go into something a bit more inspiring. Okay, so in terms of a leap, let's look at if we went for a leap type of action in there, like a pounce type of thing. You could still very much work it in there as a bonus action potentially, just to replace, considering the roar already is a bonus action. So
Well, if we look at like panthers and lions and stuff in 5e as is, if you look at a panther, if the panther moves at least 20 feet in a straight towards a creature and it hits it with a claw attack on the same turn, we could change it to a melee attack. The target must exceed a DC 12 strength saving throw. We could change that to 8 plus your, 8 plus proficiency plus, like calculate it that way, or be knocked prone. If the target's prone, you can make one bite attack as a bonus action. So it is an action. Like, well, no, it's not even an action. It's part of the attacks. Like, which I don't hate. We could literally give it the pounce ability.
I'm thinking on that one.
Because then we could also give it, like, rather than just have a natural weapon with claws, we could also give it a natural weapon with its teeth. We can give it 2 different types of natural weapon.
How would you create like a difference in terms of what they do though between teeth and
well,
like
slashing and piercing.
Slashing, that would be it.
Like, it doesn't have to be that great of a deal, but you just give them 2, so that way that when you have the pounce ability, or you even just take out the
pounce with slashing, like pounce with the claws, like you could just say it's that.
Well, no, you're meant to use both in like the pounce ability. They use both.
Oh, they use both, right?
Yeah, so if you make a leap and you hit with your claws, then as a bonus action you can bite if you hit them prone. Like, if they fall prone, you get to do the bonus action bite.
Okay. So I'm just pulling up the line now to have a look at it.
Panthers, I think it's the same.
All right.
Don't like to pounce as much. Yeah, fair. Like, it also emphasizes their speed as well, which is like,
yeah. I don't know. I'm still uncertain. I'm still on the fence about that.
No, we definitely couldn't give them both. It'd be pounce or an inspiring roar. I don't know what I'd want to do for an inspiring roar though. Advantage to an ally attack with the roar. Yeah, I don't hate that. It's just like it's a bonus action help then at distance.
I'm trying to think of.
Yeah, you know what, Fidget, you're right. N. Okay, getting hit.
I don't know. I'm trying to find something I'm happy with.
Because I wanted to make it like if this is like I want something that's mechanically different.
Yeah. I can definitely agree to that. I can definitely agree to that. Let me have a look actually.
Look to your heart's content. What do you think about making their speed like almost even like for more hit and run, like going for like 40 feet rather than 35 feet?
So I think the thing is, like, what do we want in terms of this ability? What do we want it to emulate? Like, what aspect of Leon's?
Hey, Nate, thanks for gifting a sub to Kate. That's very gamer of you.
Oh, thank you. That's so nice.
But yeah, so to ask a fellow player if it was okay to play the same race as they were playing. Nah.
No, that's fine. But yeah, my main thing is what aspect of Leon's do we want to emulate with this ability? Because like originally I was going to take a bit more of like an inspiring type, more of like a leadership type ability.
We should decide first if we want to do sub race or not. Then do we want to do sub race?
Do we want to do sub race for Leon? Which I feel like that then goes into a whole.
Because then we have to make the base a little bit weaker innately.
Yeah. And I don't know, I feel like that changes up too much. I don't think we need to do sub race. I don't think we need to do sub race, Leo.
Okay, that's fine. If you don't want to surprise, we don't go to surprise.
I mean, obviously, what do you like the idea of doing a sub race for it, or?
No, it doesn't feel right that Cade wasn't sub. Look, it's not right. It's a shame on the channel.
It's a slight.
But no, I don't really have a preference as of right now. I'm mostly trying to think of like what is the lore reason why they have this ability.
Yeah.
Like, why do they have this ability? That's my main question. Which is like, yeah. I'm going back to, I suppose where we're differing is you're kind of going for who they are now, like the unification. I'm going for like their like ancestral stuff of like how did this ability help them fight the giants?
Yeah, okay. I suppose that is a very clear distinction that we need to make with each of these races that we go into. Is like, are we doing them more like on their reason, how they've changed, how they've adapted, or is it more in terms of their past?
I think if there's been a recent change, we can do it. But I suppose we might be looking at this from different aspects.
Yeah.
Because I'm very much so like, especially with like Ravenfolk, like where we kind of started is like, I'm trying to think of like, how did this help them during like.
Yeah. Well, my thing with the Ravenfolk, though, is that they haven't really changed, because since then they've still had to be on the run, be in hiding,
true.
And still keep to that type of role, whereas Leonins, they haven't had to fight a war against giants for over 300 years. So it's like, how have they...
Well, like 200 at this point.
200 years. So it's like, how have they type of...
Well, they're still warring races, like the unification of Zarsan is a fairly new thing. I suppose I'm more looking at it from a martial point of view, and yeah, I suppose the inspiring roar could still be something, but it's more just.
Well, I was looking for a bit more of like a martial, but in a leadership sense. I suppose that's what I was looking for, like something like something in terms of like the Leonin warlords that sort of rallied their forces against the giants. Like, what was their sort of things? Like, how did they go about that? Something to sort of represent that. But at the same time, I could also very much see more of like a pounce, speed, like hunter type of approach as well.
Yeah, that's where I'm coming from. And bye, Nate. Enjoy your early start.
See you, Nate. I hope you enjoy the rest of your holiday.
And Vijik, thank you for gifting a sub to Corsair's Cove. I think they're live right now. But very cool of you.
Are.
These are some of my favorite streams. You're some of my favorite viewers.
Ooh. Yeah, so like I think we could definitely go for something that's sort of like the hunter. I think we could go into a bit more of like a hunter type.
Hey, Maddie, how are you?
Hey, Maddie.
We're doing a bit of homebrew today, and we're trying to rework a bunch of the ancestries in our setting. And currently, we're focusing on Leonin. And Vijik, thank you for gifting a sub to Maddie. That's very kind of you.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious. How did the Leonins fight against the Jotun? How did they? Because obviously they couldn't exactly, and the giants. Like, obviously it wasn't probably in like pitched confrontations direct. I imagine it was more like very hit and run skirmish.
Yeah, it was definitely hit and run. Like it wasn't taking the fight to them for quite a long time, but it was a lot of hit and run open fields. Like the speed advantage is something I kind of want to go for them, because like giants move pretty quick because of their size. But I just want to say like the Leonin were just faster and they were more like maneuverable. Even the hunter stuff could help. Like, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Giving an advantage on attack or something. I'm not sold on it right now. Guerrilla tactics, yeah, very much so. Guerrilla tactics, Nate, very much so.
Yeah.
And
guerrilla race win. Nah.
Look, that's coming up next when we get to it. We expand the Andaria even more.
Add the gorilla. Big gorilla race. It's just gorillas. That's all it is. There's nothing fancy. It's just gorillas.
No, it's literally just an awakened gorilla. That is it.
But yeah,
no,
so we could add a pounce. I just don't think. I think changing it somewhat from the standard ability, perhaps.
Yeah, look, I'm not opposed. I just don't want the daunting roar, and I want there to be enough distinction. Return to monkey.
And I'm trying to think of something. I'm trying to think of something that's not too overloaded and not too powerful at the same time, because I think it'd be very easy to go the route of just like.
I don't think the pounce makes sense since they're fighting giants either. I disagree. That's how they fucking hit him in the face. They get up high and they get him in the face. The ability to get to the weak spots.
I imagine as well. Like, imagine this. Imagine like 10 lions jumping on you at the same time in your face. Like, come on. It's bound to be effective. Some of
Look,
those
we'll do it
cases-
for scale. We'll just throw a bunch of
Yeah,
cats at Cade's face and we'll test it out IRL. I have the higher ground. Yeah, no, like fighting giants is hard, so I think being able to get up to like the threat and the weak points, I think like I'm not like it's not 10, it's 1 for the ability. I'm yeah, look, fair, but they also fought as a group.
Which is why, once again, I do like something a bit more pack. I do like a pack thing. I don't think pack tactics as such, but I do like our original idea, perhaps, of
Lions leaping 30 feet versus lions jumping 30 feet. Absolutely. No, I'm off. See you, Nate. Enjoy your night. Enjoy your early start. And no, I'm not saying like mechanically there's a chance, but it's a strength save is how Pounce normally works. So it's very unlikely that one could, but many trying could try and stack the odds. Look, I'm not 100% saying I want the Pounce. I'm also just not sold on the inspiring roar.
I think some sort of pack ability could work, but obviously not pack tactics, but some sort of pack ability. I think something to do with like if allies within sort of 5 feet or allies within 10 feet gives X something, or you can do if allies are within some amount of feet of you. I'm not sure what, but I don't think just like giving advantage or something is the way to go. But I think it'd be interesting for some sort of something you can give out to allies, like some sort of pack.
Okay, hear me out. I like this. So going off the Pants idea, so we went pretty like the daunting roar is also pretty fucking situational. Hear me out. I don't know how we'd mechanic this, but if you move at least 20 feet and make an attack on a creature, you can then basically, how to put it, like bounce off that creature to attack another creature within 10 feet.
Okay, as part of the same attack action?
Part of the same attack, or make another attack as a bonus action. Like you literally leap off the other creature. Like because if it's something used to fight giants, like I can see the argument made for not knocking a giant prone, but like literally just jumping off their own fucking bodies and attacking the next one in the line, or like within a certain range. It also is kind of mechanically cool and aesthetically pleasing in the mind's eye. Ricochet attack, Nate. Didn't you say you were going?
Ricochet lines. Nate, go. Enjoy your holiday. God.
And Maddie, you can. What you drop a link if you want, as long as it's not hella sus. We're pretty okay with that.
I'll check it out first.
Yeah. But I kind of actually really like the idea of like that Ricochet like jumping off another creature. Images, Rafa, you've that image.
Yeah. I quite like the idea of it as well, with like a
and you can limit it to a number of proficiency. Yeah, but it's also like it's very anime
type of thing, with like sword dancers going through, and Link's fine.
Okay. I really like this idea, I will say. And we could base it off of similar to a Pounce, but because they weren't fighting creatures, they were trying to knock prone. Look.
Look, mate, look. We love having you here. We'd never complain.
Fuck off, guys. To invest in the lore. Look, to invest in the lore. I'd say maybe like we could even have it as if they hit. So if the target is medium or smaller, we could have it that they get knocked prone. But if the target is a size category larger than them, they can bounce off of it to make an attack. So you get like the best of both worlds. Because Pounce is also kind of weak, like by itself.
Okay, so you're saying like, so what's the distance?
So let's say like random throughout, like 15 feet, just.
So they can bounce from one person to another within 15 feet?
Yeah, so basically, let's say they move 20 feet to make an attack on a creature. If the creature is larger than them, they can move. They can then like ricochet off that creature or leap off that creature and make another attack as a bonus action against a creature within 15 feet without provoking opportunity attack.
Reaction? Okay, without an opportunity attack. That's quite strong. Because, I mean, if you look at it, like, it'd be...
No, you can't keep bouncing. You can't keep bouncing because it uses the bonus action.
I mean, theoretically, I'm just curious now, because you build a swashbuckler, right? So you go in there, you hit him, you get the extra attack, and you don't provoke opportunity attacks after making an attack as a swashbuckler. You just get 2 attacks for the price of 1, and then get to move out.
True,
That would
but
be
if you
very-
look at it in the grand scale of things of like races that are like bullshit broken, if you just put up beside a satyr,
It's yeah. Look, if you put anything besides a satyr, satyrs are just stupid.
yeah, but like we have a clear line in the sand that we can't cross. It's like satyrs, the two
Look,
bullshit. We can't go past that.
I just want to put it out there. What was Wizards doing when they created satyrs?
I don't know.
Like, does anyone here know?
We'll fix it when we get to it.
Information. Ah, fucking hell.
No, but I think it's something that could be mechanically cool, and then it's also like it's not as situational because if the creature is smaller than you can knock it prone, and if the creature is larger than you can leap off of it.
Okay.
Like it's something. I'm not sold on the roar because it's like I'm more like their military might and like their ability to like outmaneuver these giants is where I kind of like their lore comes from.
My question here for you, Des. What version of hobgoblins are we using? Are we using the Monsters of the Multiverse or the Volley's Guide to Monsters?
I don't own Monsters of the Multiverse, so probably not that.
Because that's the most updated one.
What changes it?
Quite a lot. It gets like a lot more Fey-related abilities, and it loses the whole saving face thing.
Okay, so I don't like how complicated it's racial. That's fair.
Because I was thinking of taking advantage, because depending on which one we use, we can always take advantage from the saving face ability that Volo's hobgoblins get, but then just word it slightly differently, which is that one there is that if you fail an attack roll or fail an ability check or saving throw, you can get a bonus to the roll equal to the number of allies you can see within 30 feet of you. Once you use
but I don't want to just take that.
You can't use it again. No, but I think we could try and work with that a little bit.
Volo hobgoblins is better. I think you're being outvoted, right? People say MCU hobgoblins on my.
Yeah, look, I don't know. I've barely looked into them. I don't know.
It is complicated, but the pants, like the modified pants, it's complicated, but in mechanics,
I think if we work on it and try and refine it into something, and to work on the wording, it could work.
Keep it simple. Maybe. See how we feel.
Now I'm just really trying to think here in terms of. Perhaps we should just maybe move on while we just let this one here think a little bit.
Look, let it cook.
Well, yeah, just let it cook, because I know for both of us, we tend to always come back to things as we go on. Anyway,
I do think it's a good starting point because I think it sounds more complicated than it is. I just need to figure out a way to word it. Yeah. See, now I agree. I'm probably going to go with it. I just need to figure out how to word it because mechanically, it's just is it like take a box? Is it bigger or larger? Okay, then you know what to do. Like I think if you just bullet point it, it's not too hard to complicate the wording.
Yeah.
It's just be cleaning up the wording to make it sound better because I definitely need to word it better because the way obviously when we're just vocalizing it doesn't come across very well. But I really like that idea as like just their momentum and movement because like basically they're just like they are the fucking the starships looping around the AT-AT's legs in Star Wars. Like
100%. Yeah.
It's only a racial. It should be heaps. It should be. I'm not sure what you mean, but okay. So Loxodon. Let's pull up Loxodon. What book is Loxodon? I think that's
that
Ravnicus.
Good question, Des.
I think it's Ravnicus, but I also think the Taldore one has it. Not Taldore.
That is a really good question.
No,
Loxodon.
What? Yeah, it's Ravnica. It's Ravnica.
Okay, it is Ravnica. Okay. Jeez,
Look,
it took me a hot second to actually remember.
Look, my Ravnica book literally just has dust sitting atop it. Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Good much Ravnica. I like Ravnica as a setting. I've just never played in it all that much, or I've never played in any published settings. But I just don't. I don't crack this book's spine as much as others. Hey, Gabby, how you doing? We're doing well. We're reworking all the ancestries in our world and getting reduce the range of the ricochet attack to 5 feet. 20 feet movement gets the attack an enemy. Then one more within 5 feet of the enemy. Maybe 10 feet. I want it to be larger than 5 feet. That doesn't feel enough to me. Slow Loxodon. What do they get? Lumbering Giants. Like what kind of ancestries? Okay, Gabby. So all the ancestries in our setting are basically Raven Folk, Leonin, Loxodon, Goliath, Aliced, which is kind of like a deer centaur, Pineys, which are like Dryad people, Arena, which are Sonic the Hedgehog as people, the Genasi, the Satyr, Tieflings, Goblins, Hobgoblins, Bugbears, Aasimar, Elves, and Humans. Yeah, similar to a Green Flame Blade, just a little bit bigger. Just a little bit bigger.
Yeah, just shaped like a lion.
Shaped like a lion and can go 10 feet rather than 5 feet. Doesn't get bonuses to damage though, to make up for that. But so Loxodons innately they get their ASIs. Obviously, one thing I want to correct is the Loxodons living to 450 years feels a little bit much to me. I think I want to bring that down to like 300.
Yeah.
Just because like it's still pretty old, but like, powerful build. That just feels like something they should get as an innate thing. Lion squared. Let's go. Do we want the Loxodon to have the full 30 feet movement, or do you want them to be like lumbering giants of like 25 feet movement? Just like that.
I quite like that. I think that's something we should emphasize. Because it also just in terms of
even 10 feet, you're getting an extract for nothing. You shouldn't be able to bounce too far away. Whatever wording it is, but you can move them. If you're wielding 2 weapons, you can get an attack on a bonus action anyway. So I don't see it the same way, but thanks for the input. But yeah, I kind of like Loxodons being like slightly slower, like slightly a little bit, like 25 feet movement. Just
or I want
like they were not
like a contrast between them.
Yeah,
and the
exactly.
Others, like in terms of what, like how they worked so well together. So I think having the contrast in the speed and the movement side of things is a good way of handling that. So I think 25.
You're working on Spelljammer worlds, Gabby? How's the Spelljammer going? I'm very curious of Spelljammer just as a viewer. I've never done anything in it. I don't run pre-written, but I'm very curious of Spelljammer. It has a lot of cool stuff I've heard. So Loxodons.
So yeah, Loxodons. So they've got their powerful build, so one size larger. Advantage on Charmed or Frightened. AC
natural armor
plus Constitution.
I don't know if I want that.
You don't know if you want that. Okay, why not?
Okay, I suppose thematically for their hey Nate, thanks for gifting a gift sub to Gabby. Thank you so much for all the love you're showing today. It's really nice of you guys.
Thank you so much.
Super happy to have you here. Didn't you say you're going to bed? Just or there's a world that hasn't discovered the Ancestries planet. Well, the magic come with magic. Interesting.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I like that word.
Instead of a large monster sort of way to move. Yeah. Like I suppose do you like natural AC as a concept? It's something I don't mind as a concept, but I much more rather it for let me love you.
Plus.
No, I don't respond nice to positivity. I'm not used to it, Nate.
Yeah.
I struggle with it.
Des shuts down if you compliment them. If you compliment them too much, it's just breaks down.
Look, I'll wear my glasses again. I'll just leave you with this for the rest of it. Like it doesn't compute my brain too much. But thank you. I do really appreciate it. This all goes to good stuff. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
But yeah, so natural. Okay. So
natural, like other than Warforged stuff, I'm not like maybe controversial. Like I get it for a lot of things, but like I'm not the biggest fan. Like just as a concept.
Okay.
Like I get it. I get the like for Turtle and stuff. I don't mind as much like Shell, but like.
Because
for
we need something. We need something then to emphasize the lumbering giant aspect of it, and to try and lean into that role compared to the
Yeah.
to the speed and like the ferocity.
Like
of
I
the
want them to be like
Leonids.
old and
like,
wise.
counter that.
Turtles are cool. I love
Old and
turtles too.
wise. Okay. Look, the trunk ability, I feel like you just need to keep that as is because
True,
obviously
I don't think
it's
we probably
cool.
can't take it word for word though. We'll have to change it. Please shield the world
Yeah,
anvil.
we'll have to change.
Actually, yeah. So, guys, if you did get a gifted sub, reach out to me on the Discord. So you got to join the Discord and give me your name for the world anvil, and that gives you access to the world anvil if you're a sub to the channel. It's very, very cool, very, very neat. I don't shill enough. Thank you for reminding me, Nate.
Thank you, Nate.
But if that's something you're interested in, it is a benefit of being sub to the channel. So go off and message me, join our Discord if someone can put the exclamation point.
Yeah, I think we need some sort of something to represent their toughness for the Loxodon. Something,
Yeah, something to reference.
like whether or not it's that or if it's something else. I do think that's a good point.
Look, we can keep. I just want to explore other options because I'm just not like the biggest
Yeah.
fan of natural.
Okay, so
Above comment, like in this version, you move 20 feet and can end on the other side of a large monster sort of way to move through an enemy space because that can be good. I don't hate it. I still just prefer the 10 feet of movement personally. I don't think 5 feet is enough. Just my personal
It's something
opinion
we
of
can-
what I like.
yeah,
But we'll think about it. We'll move on to Loxodon now because I don't like. We will just sit here for the next hour and just lament over this 1 pound sleep ability.
okay. How would you feel if we almost gave them a flat bonus to AC?
I'd maybe prefer that. I would maybe prefer that. While
Maybe
like,
if it's just like a +1 to AC, or like it's just like maybe just like a flat bonus to AC.
but I suppose
because
like you don't have to agree with me. How do you feel about natural armor? Is just like something people get like
In terms of races or just in general?
in terms of like race and D&D. Like how do you feel about it?
It depends on the race. It depends on the race. I like, as you said, I like it for some. I think it's perfectly fitting for like turtles and warforged as well. I like it, but then I wouldn't. It's not something I would want to spread around too far. I feel like it's something that needs to be very case by case and just a bit of a more of a rare ability.
What if we actually gave them something similar to Mountain Dwarf? What if we just give them extra HP every level, like +2 HP every level? So that's their natural. Like it's not so much that they're as they're high, it is tougher and stuff, but it's just like they're more like represented in their overall like health pool.
That could work. That could potentially work.
Like because if I'm not mistaken, I think it's Mountain Dwarf that gets an extra 1 or 2 HP at every level, like for their subclass.
I think it is. Yeah. So
Um,
in that case, will we ever bring dwarves over in that case? Because
but they can
From
they can both
us,
benefit from the same thing. Like they can have a similar. Like
True,
how many
true,
things
true.
have like natural armor as its own innate ability?
Not
Also,
many.
Gift to Gabby said, Ordale, the planet I'm working on, is inspiration of the wild and the willows, and at some point it's going to be conquered by the Victorian spelljamming space orcs. Ooh, nice. Or
Ooh, I love that.
or
That's
die,
cool. That's
the
really
world
cool.
is inhabited Herringons, Tabaxi, Cockroach, Satyr, Eladrin, and Turtle. Nice. That sounds like very hippy dippy place to live. I wouldn't mind, like, I suppose it's just natural armor is like, it's cool, but it's also like, I think the flat HP buff every level might be interesting to approach as well, because again, it's just a mechanic I'm not like a massive lover of. And as much as I have like a absolute monkey brain for just loving like high AC, it's just a little bit extra, like,
All right.
because like what is their natural AC calculation anyway?
It's Constitution. It's 12 plus con. 12 plus con.
Yeah, Gabby, I also like the HP thing better. Thank you.
Shield benefits apply as normal if you wear natural armor. Okay. Okay. 12 plus con.
Like, I think it's because 12 plus con. Also, like, I'll argue this for a second. So it's like, head off. See you, Kate. Enjoy your night. Enjoy your night's
See you,
rest.
Kate. Good to have you here, though.
My hair gonna get lucky beside halflings because lucky rabbit feet. Hey, let's go. So let me argue this for a bit. 12 plus con. Let's say you're playing a character that's not con related. I want this to be like regardless of your con, this is just something that's like ancestrally in you. Like I suppose 12 plus con is that in its own sense as well. However, it's like if you're wearing armor, a lot of Loxodon are just going to innately negate it. Whereas like regardless of class or subclass you are playing, the flat HP boost will show your natural hardiness.
Okay.
I'll have to check Mountain Dwarf because I'm not sure what it is, but I think
Yeah,
either
I'll quickly pull that up just to have something to bounce it off. Okay, so Mountain Dwarf. It is. Okay, it's taking its time a little bit.
it's Hill Dwarf. Hit point max increased by 1 and
It's
increased by
Hill Dwarf,
1 every
okay.
time you get a level.
Yeah, I was looking at it. There we go. Okay, so it's just 1.
I mean, we could make it 2. Like, why not? Like, because if we just give them like the thing and then their trunk and then some proficiencies, like, what else do they get? Like, what else are we kind of?
They get okay, so they get advantage against Charmed and Frightened. They count as 1 size larger.
Okay.
So they get 1 size larger. They advantage against Charmed and Frightened, the trunk, and they get advantage on Wisdom. When they advantage on Perception, Survival, and Investigation checks revolving around smell.
Yeah.
So they do get quite a few abilities already. So I think leaving it as 1 would work.
Yeah, I think maybe leaving this one. It's like
I think 1 would work.
I just kind of prefer it to the AC, to be perfectly honest.
Let me just have a look at it, actually. Look back over this. I didn't actually realize they got advantage on Charmed against Charmed or Frightened. That's actually really good. Like that's.
It is.
It also makes me realize how many of some of the earlier races didn't quite get a lot of.
They didn't get that much. They really didn't. Some of the earlier races kind of just were ignored.
So let me just change natural.
And I love the Rabbit Folk, but hate Haragon. Whereas I think that was a problem with a lot of like the Wildbeard on the Witchlight, not Wildbeard on the Witchlight. Was it Strixhaven they came? I can't remember which one they came in, but like, didn't some of them just straight up have no lore, like with them? Like there was very little flavor text whatsoever. I think that was an issue in one of the books they put out. I'm just curious, is the elephant trunk a specific thing to, like, is that in the elephant stat block in the SRD? In which case we can take that. It is not. Okay. Because, like, we can't just rip that word for word because that's Ravnica IP. So either we gotta change it a little bit, or we gotta, like...
That's a good point.
Remember, this is like the idea of this as a stream and as a series in its own right is if we were to publish this is going to be the races in our own campaign setting book, and we can't just have.
So let's think about this then. If we change the trunk, rewording it, potential. Otherwise, what would we change it into?
Well, no, I definitely like as an elephant, like the game fantasy of playing an elephant folk, like a Loxodon style, is about having that trunk.
Yes.
I think like the first bit, like what if we literally just went like very anime and we took away that your trunk can use weapons? Like we ignore the it can't. Okay. Or maybe we make it so that your trunk, rather than has it like you can do like basic things with it, what if we had it so like you can make like grapple checks with your trunk?
You know what? I quite like that. I quite like that. Yeah.
Like, we can keep the keen smell because that's not like a wording specific thing. That's not an issue. Languages we'll put our own in. The Loxodon Serenity, I don't think we could, like maybe we change it to something like Hardened by War and we take out the charm and just keep it as Frightened because Haragon are also known for large families of 5 to 9 kids on average, with up to 4 generations living in a single home that tend to be chaotic in Haragon homes. Yeah, look, that is an a wild family life to have. I don't envy that, because that just seems fucking awful in my mind. What are you thinking? I see the cogs turning in your eyes behind the screen, and like we are giving them a slight nerf. So like, what's like the? I don't want to say like what are we making up for it, but like where's your brain at right now? Where's your brain at? Talk to me.
I'm just trying to look at in terms of other races in that at the moment. If there's anything similar in terms of anything that can be used similar, and there's not much. I think we're in a bit of a
there isn't.
Unique
I think.
Here. I think.
What if we have it so it's like
good.
What if it's like a flat bonus +1 to athletics checks made to grapple with your trunk? Or +1 to like shove attacks with the trunk as well. Like we can give it like that, like to a shove or a grapple check. You have a +1 with your trunk.
Okay.
Because like lore wise, like and not like even like mechanic wise, if we put that in there, then it can be up to the DMs. Like, can I use my trunk to move stuff around? Like you can grapple with it, so I wouldn't see why not. You know, it's kind of like we've got the wording in there.
Yeah. Okay.
Because like D&D, like Wizards also included the lovely language in Ravnica. It's like, it's up to your DM how much you can really do with it. I was like, okay, so.
Yes. Okay, yeah, you know what? I like that. Yeah, I reckon we can leave that in. Rather than just change it around to grapple. Quite like that.
Yeah, give it like a +1 to grapple and shove checks with your trunk. Like, it's not that much, or actually, no, you get a bonus equal to your proficiency score. Let it scale. Let them cook.
Okay. So just in terms of the wording, so I can just write this down now. How should we put it down?
Just for wording right now, just put bonus to grapple checks with your trunk equal to proficiency.
All right, perfect. I like that, actually. I really like that. Yeah. Let's keep that in.
Yeah. And then I think Hardened by War, we just still give them advantage on frighten checks. Like, I don't think the charm is needed because that's not something the Giants would have used.
Okay, so just advantage against Giant. Okay.
And then maybe we give them proficiency in insight.
Change. Okay. Why proficiency in insight?
Just to kind of like harken back the wisdom, I think. Like we can give them the keen smell, but then it's just like
they also get advantage on insight.
Yeah, I don't know how we'd
sorry, proficiency in insight.
Proficiency. Yeah, I just think like I don't know how we'd lure it, but it just feels like something to harken to their wisdom. And the campaign, this is for my following campaign premise. All right, shoot. Your spell jamming scouting party discovered new worlds for your home world. A legendary planet turtle is dying. It quickly is about 15 to 30 years to the planet turtle's demise. You need a deal foreign worlds to solve problems to get a new place for various groups for each arc ship to a new homes. That sounds cool. That sounds really cool. That sounds very, very interesting. I'm keen to see how it goes for you. Please let us know when you do it.
Perfect. All right, so we've actually got a fair few things in there.
We do.
Few changes made.
Yeah, we have to like put some words down, but I feel like what we've gotten down so far is pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
But let me look at what they have. Let's see if there's anything else at all I think we should get rid of.
Yeah,
we've got the keen smell, we're keeping that. And then language. What if we like common, and rather than for like Leona, what if we just give like Zarsan as a language? So like common and Zarsan. So like Loxodon and Leona and people in Zarsan. Like obviously we'll come up with a better word for the language. We'll probably consult the Jennifer Carter on that. But like rather than like making Loxodon and Leona in their own language, or maybe we do give them their own language. I suppose they should need, like, do they need it? Would we give it to them, or would we give like?
Oh, do we just want to add Zarsan as language? Like, they each have their own traditional languages, but they also have new Zarsan.
Yeah. But also I want to start having regional languages, like, show up.
Well, Zarsan's just a version of Common, I imagine. Like, it's just the
Very
regional
similar version.
dialect of Common. So I think that we put that in there. I still like the idea of them having their each individual their own languages.
Yeah, I suppose we just put it down as a we have them down as a heritari. This kind of name we give them the old elven name. There's a star
Heritari,
system
that's
close to the elemental planes, like all of them, and the planetary uses elemental battlegrounds. That's badass. That is some badass arena combat, and I'm here for
That's
that
cool,
that
so.
behavior.
That's cool.
Mhm. Okay, where's our brain at? Where are we doing? How we feeling on them? Should we keep the keen smell? I suppose
think keep the
lore
keen
wise,
smell.
what else do we have on? Like, we probably want to touch, like, I think they were like the military, like the not the military mind. Yeah, I suppose like the political minds of like
Well,
the
they were the way I imagined is that whilst the Leonins were very much like not just the warriors, but also the inspiring leaders, the charismatic people, sort of at the front and everything. The Loxodons are the people that did a lot of the heavy lifting behind the scenes, whether that's through like administrative and bureaucratic stuff in terms of establishing new states, new cities, new castles, and things like that, and also doing a lot of the more sort of labor-intensive works, probably Leonins, Loxodons as well, due to their size and their natural strength. So they took on much more of that type of role. In terms of both of those aspects, like there's two very much.
yeah, but like another thing we have
two
them as
very
like
different
they are
sides.
craftsmen. Like they are some of the greatest
Yes.
crafters. Like
So they have that crafter side, and they also have very much that keen political.
actually, what if we gave them
administration.
into like because giving just one proficiency kind of feels weird in my mind. I can't remember a book where I've read they get like a proficiency in one skill. So what if we went like and one artisan's tool of your choice?
Well, I mean, there's some that often like you can choose one out of a variety of skills. Like
Yeah,
Leonin,
true.
for example, has that.
True. But what do you think of giving them an artisan to like literally to get that crafter? Because like they don't really get that much like in terms of like what they're mechanically doing there.
Do you think we remove keen smell? Because it
Maybe.
doesn't fit with the lore as much.
No, it
Whereas
doesn't.
I think we can add in things that can represent them in the lore a bit more.
Hello, guys and girls. What's brewing? Hi, hello, Pat. We're
Hey.
basically welcome to the stream. We're doing some homebrew today where we're looking at every ancestry that's currently playable in our setting of Quentis that we've been developing since late 2018, and we're overhauling all of the ancestries so we have our own versions of them for if ever we want to put out our own little booklet kind of deal, or continue to put out booklets, or
Yeah.
a campaign
just-
setting.
Yeah, and just give us an excuse as well, just to go through and go through the lore and
Yeah,
the
and give
cultural
them
aspects of the
ancestral
races.
abilities based on their lore.
Yeah, yeah.
How are you
Something
today?
a bit more fitting.
How's your first time in chat? I hope everything is amicable. Hope sounding good to you and everything's looking well. Let us know how you're feeling today. I have a Fey planet, mushroom folk dominant planet, that by default hates outsiders due to their bad experiences. That's fair. Outsiders are the worst.
So what do we replace it with?
That's an
We're-
excellent
we're-
question, Raf. That's an excellent
We're taking out
question.
keen smell. I do think a proficiency of sorts, perhaps. And I think
So, hello, Pete. Ancestry is a term that Pathfinder uses lots of like the races. So, like your humans, your elves, your goblins, your dwarves.
yeah,
They like because
what's
there's
the term
kind of
they use nowadays in D&D?
they're using lineage. Not
That's right,
lineage. No, they're doing species in D&D now.
Is it?
They're changing to species,
Okay.
which also means it's no longer cannibalism to eat the other races.
Oh.
Just by their wording alone. Okay. Yeah, so basically what your character is, like what are you, a lion person, a raven person, like what's your bit?
Yeah. So in terms of that, so we
Ew.
had
It was correct, Gabby. Cannibalism is no longer the term bloodline.
That's kind of cool.
That just reminds me of Vampire the Masquerade, just because it's just it's so ingrained in my brain.
Okay, I'm trying to think. I think proficiency in one tool of sorts.
Okay.
Perhaps I don't know. I don't know what we put in its
I have it
place.
down as insight and one tool of your choice, one artisan's tool of your choice.
So you think insight?
I think insight just because like they're like I want to have something about their wisdom. Like they still were like the political like wisdom and like political insight goes well
Perhaps
together.
perhaps we
Persuasion,
can almost
insight, and
perhaps we give a choice. Like you can choose one between like insight, history.
well, no, we're saying these are the politicians basically. This is like the administrators. So what if we gave them persuasion, insight, and then a choice of their artisan's tools?
Okay.
Bloodline is actually a noble term to show the birthright of rulership. Yeah, no, it definitely is. I just, if you've ever played the Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines game, it always makes me think of that. And Bloodline is actually something we use in our thing for art because we have noble vampire houses in our setting, and the Bloodline follows that for their right of rulership there.
Ooh, okay.
Because like we're really having these people like be the backbone of the country.
My only concern is then giving them too much because we haven't taken away.
Well, we're taking away an advantage and like we're taking away a thing in charm, and we're taking away.
We're taking away the charm and we're giving it this instead. So we're taking away the charm and the keen smell and giving this instead. We have
It's just-
also removed 5 feet of movement from them as well,
Yes, which isn't not nothing.
which is not nothing.
We also removed their natural armor. We gave them extra HP.
We also removed the HP instead, which I would argue is more useful as well.
I would
Because
argue too.
9, yeah.
Do you guys make difference in culture and ancestry?
Culture and ancestry.
Culture?
In regards to like mechanically, yes.
Yeah.
That's what we're kind of looking at the moment. But yes, so replacing Kingspell and replacing it with name pending, proficiency in insight, persuasion, and 1 artisan tool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That feels right to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Where we at?
So I think it's also very important. Like we're making this much more of a like. I think at the end of the day, regardless of what we do, there's going to be ways to exploit these races in terms of the builds and stuff.
There's always going to be.
There's going to be. No, and we're trying to just do things that are very much lore-wise up to scratch with our setting.
Definitely.
In my non-Spelljammer world, I have a country that's got an undead ruling class. There is a magical bubble that makes it always night in the country, so vampires rule the night. The bubble has no known explanation. That's kind of cool. I like that. I'm always a big fan of undead countries like that. I think that's a cool
I just
concept.
like when I hear no known explanation. 'Cause
Yeah, exactly. Just hit them with that.
I just think it's something that's interesting to expand on.
Yeah, well, also gives a lot of questions. Like people that want to look into it, cool. That's like a campaign. All right. So, do you want to move? Do you want to still stick with this at all, or?
How are we feeling? How are we feeling about Loxodon? How are people feeling? Do people in chat have any questions about the stuff we've gotten down so far? What's on the minds of the general public right now? How are we feeling?
General public.
Because I'm currently like, it's called the Crimson Court. Love it.
Cool name. Cool name.
Are they undead or are they vampire rule the night? The bubble has no. Vampire ruling class, very very cool. Highly recommend.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Look, could end up being the state of this world if we're not successful.
Yeah, vampires are so prevalent right now in our campaign. It's literally the entire premise is like big vampire lord is trying to rule the entire world. Just honestly, quite cool. In my setting, the players found out that the Elvins are actually Dampiers who hide their truth till they forgot it themselves. Man, I love the face of the Elven player in the campaign. That would have been a cool reveal. That would have been such a cool reveal. I would have loved it. Like, I pulled some pretty good bamboozles on my player. That sounds cool. Vampires are the most common ruling classes. Where are the liches at? Where are my liches at? I'm just thinking time-wise, Raph. How are we feeling? Like, do we want to start Goliath? Because Time-wise...
Oh, geez, I didn't even see the time. I didn't even realize
It blinked by today. It blinked by today.
Wow.
Absolutely, just like it's gone like that. Liches and ghosts and stuff too.
Right.
I love ghosts. I want to have more ghosts too.
Yeah. So, do you want to move on to Goliaths, or because I also look at Goliaths? I don't actually think there's too much that I do actually want to change with Goliaths. To be honest,
I know that there's some stuff that we're like we don't want to change too much, but the problem is in the same wording we have to change stuff because if we ever want to publish them, we have to.
Yes,
we have, or even like our version, like you know.
Yeah. However, I don't feel like a lot of their stuff would be too hard to just reword, as it's all very simple. I do think we take away though. One thing I do think we change is the mountain born because our Goliaths aren't really linked too much to the mountains.
No, I want to do something like them half giant style, so give them something to do with that.
Yes.
Are Goliaths SRD? Did Goliaths become SRD?
Good question. I was thinking something more related to cold, personally.
More related to cold? Okay.
More like resistance to cold. Because they're found in the far north of the world. That is their like part of the thing.
Real fun was that he understand why I only allowed the moon elf in subrace. Love it. It's just
cool.
like hoodwinking your players and getting some cool reveals out. Like we do it a lot, and I always find it a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Where did the time go today?
Yeah.
Where did it go? Bruh.
But yeah. So did you want to start Goliaths?
I'm also working on It's Not Underdark. We also don't have an Underdark. We have a world below. Similar kind of idea, but not the same at all.
Yeah.
City of Diamond is also called Marazine by the Dark Elves. The city of where's it gone?
Misery.
Misery.
To settle with her flaws. Oh, sorry, you can read.
No, you read out loud. I'll read it quiet.
Looking for a place to settle with her followers after the Dark Elf city, Mizardol, or the Place of Pearls, as it was known, fell to human retaliation after one too many raids in 2033, 196 years ago. Due to slavery and bad conditions, a slave uprising started being planned in the third winter of 2560 by the automatons and other slaves of the City of Diamonds, also known as the Marazine. The real actionable plans truly started to take shape beginning in the second spring of 2561 with a surge of people joining in secret. That sounds cool. That's a really interesting backstory to that whole setup. So are your Dark Elves very much the more standard, like, well, not standard, but like more sort of wizards, like slavers, very bit more on the cruel aspect of that side of things?
Interesting.
But yeah. So Des, how do you feel where we're at?
It's cool. It's very, very cool. What do we do? Also, what do you think of the name for Jotunkin? I don't know if I like it. I don't know if I like it at all. I was about something to think of. We don't have to decide on it today.
I don't know.
You know, I think time-wise, just getting into it, we're going to be here like another half hour if we do, and we're kind of
I can see this. I mean, because I was going to say now I'm just thinking into it a bit.
If we start, we won't stop.
Shit.
So
yeah, I could easily get into Jotun says this is one I actually really want to dig into.
Yeah, so give some time to think about it. But so for what it is worth, thank you so much for everyone who showed up today. Thank you to
thank you very much.
Thank you for the follows, Devon Knight 225. Thank you to the dono from Fijuk. Thank you to the gifted subs from Nelderberry and Fijuk. And thank you so much for people who came to hang out with us today. This is probably a series that we're going to be continuing every week when we get a chance, either between on a Wednesday or Thursday, depending on my work schedule, or honestly, who knows. But we're going to call it there. We're going to go ahead and end the stream, and I'll see.
Thank you so much, everyone.
The person Phoenix Wacky
is
they online?
Yes.
Awesome. So we're going to go ahead and raid Phoenix Walkie, and we're going to love you and leave you. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Super cool to have you. Thank you so much. We had a lot of fun with this, and it's good to see such a lively and beautiful crowd come into us today.
Yeah.
Join us on all our socials, and if you like what you saw a little bit more, we have a Patreon if you want to get some extra added benefits of cartography assets, maps that are to be made, and behind the scenes spoilery stuff on how I decide to set up a game. Other than that, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. If you got gifted a sub, reach out to me on the Discord server because it will give you access to our World Anvil. And we're going to pop off and see you next time, at least on Monday. Bye.
Yes. See ya.